And you couldn't believe it when this person started to discipline you. Discipline your behavior that was completely out of order. This was not expected. You'd never experienced it before. But there was something about it that you liked. It gave you a sense of direction. It gave you a sense of purpose. It gave you a sense of boundaries. But how are you going to incorporate this into a life that was fueled with habits that were bad, a character that was completely misaligned? Your character was no different to Humpty Dumpty, who sat on the wall and had a great fall. You just fall and fall and fall because your character was wrong. How were you going to incorporate this magnificent, well-adapted person into a life of complete dysfunction? This is what you could not come to terms with. You couldn't work this out. You were going to try, but you were definitely going to try. But whether you succeeded or not was going to be another story. Well, unfortunately, as the story goes, you didn't succeed. Reason being, you couldn't undo the way of life that you created for yourself that was contrary to what the other person was going to do, going to want and need from you. And so, of course, as the boundaries started to approach you, as you were called upon to bring your life into some kind of order, you did try. And the other person had to make their minor micro-incremental adjustments as well to allow for your habits to give you time to make a decision as to what your values really were and whether you were going to change or not. And as you started to change, as you started to value the relationship a little bit more than the habits and addictions and ways of life that you created for yourself, the casual, reckless sex and being used and abused, robbed from, and all that stuff, you realize that there was a way of life that you hadn't seen before, where people will value what's best, won't cater to what causes harm and destruction and addiction, and can't be manipulated and controlled by physical body parts, attractiveness, and sex. This fascinated you because you were used to manipulating people by way of your vagina and breasts and good looks. You knew that you'd bewitched men before, and on your catwalk, your private little personal catwalk, had bewitched men before. So if it worked before, it'll work every time. You figured this out as a young person, a young woman or young man, that you can bewitch people and manipulate them into what you want and what you like, until you wear them out and you dispose of them. This wasn't anything new to you. You knew that men were weak and by way of lust. You found a man that suited you, a suitor. You immediately got pregnant to try and hold this person. You decided this was the one that you wanted. This one's better than the others. But of course, time has a way of showing to us who we are mixed up with and what that intends to bring and all the rest of it. For us, the trouble and the anguish, the spite, the jealousy, the insecurity, the ego, the pedestalization, possibly the abuse. Abuse and pedestalization can both produce tremendous characteristic flaws in people that don't surface, that remain underlined until time and situations wear things out. Yesterday we were trying to set up a beach thing in the wind, and it became quite difficult, and I was getting a little bit frustrated with it, to be honest with you, and I had to ask the other person to make some kind of contribution, and they did. There's things that we have underneath that can manifest and not become favorable to the relationship. You'll meet people and all they want to do is talk about somebody that they've been with. You mention something and, oh, so-and-so, yeah, so-and-so, and it's really irrelevant to anything that's going on, which means there's still some kind of an attachment from that person. Excuse me. Up. Hey. Up. He's got to be run, this little dog. And we have to be disciplined ourselves. We have to be disciplined and challenged and checked, and for us to grow, or we just won't grow. Some of us choose not to grow. Some of us will just, for instance, eat ourselves into the ground, where we've totally let ourselves go. We don't exercise, we smoke, drink, we indulge in dope, marijuana, the devil's lettuce, whatever you want to call it. Other casual recreational drugs that bring harm and destruction. If you don't believe me, go to the psych wards and hospitals. You'll find them there, chopped up, messed up, body parts missing from where they've rotted and been damaged by the habits. A lot of these people have moments where they see the light. They have seen the light. That leaves them without any excuse as to their victim mentality and the way that pedestalizes them. A lot of people grandiose all the bad things that have happened to them. And if you don't play the game, then you're not worthy of who they are. Get out of that. Don't be a grub. They're scavengers. They scavenge on people's ways of life that are better than theirs. Like this dog, scavenging the drink bottle. And just because they saw the light and didn't respond doesn't mean you don't. You're bonded. They've got the bond going. Get out of it, you little grub. Fucking dirty little dog. You get tired of it. You get tired of these people who continually want to scavenge around with their habits and behaviors, and these fools break up with you, and because you're trauma bonded, you think you've lost something special, when really all you've lost is a whole heap of trouble. And so the light dawns on you, and you realize, oh my God, I've ended up with someone that really isn't going to make the effort for themselves, so how are they going to make the effort for me? And then you start to realize that you need to detach. And once you detach, then you see the real side of the lazy person or the destructive person that you're with.